Antibiotics are failing us? Did we help create the crisis? A miracle cure with early warnings. When antibiotics arrived in the mid-20th century, they were hailed as the cure for infectious disease. Scientists lined up to declare victory over illness, even though early laboratory evidence was already showing bacteria developing resistance. The warnings were there from the beginning, but the celebration drowned them out. Decades later, we are paying the price for that scientific hubris and for a medical system that treated antibiotics as a limitless resource instead of a fragile one. A crisis growing across England. Today, antibiotic resistance is accelerating across England. In 2024, we saw almost 400 new resistant infections every single week. Deaths rose sharply too, from just over 2,000 in 2023 to nearly 2,400 in 2024. E. coli alone now causes almost 2/3 of all resistant bloodstream infections. These figures represent real people whose lives might have been saved if these medicines still worked the way they once did. Progress undermined by private prescribing. The NHS is trying to cut antibiotic use, bringing prescribing 2% below pre-COVID levels. But progress is being undercut by the explosion of private prescribing. Pharmacy dispensing has more than doubled since 2019, and 22% of antibiotics are now issued outside the NHS. Many question the expansion of government schemes that give access without providing the rapid diagnostic tools needed to avoid over-prescribing, inequality and public misunderstanding. Meanwhile, inequality is widening, and people in the poorest communities are now 47% more likely to develop a resistant infection than those in the wealthiest areas. Public understanding is still patchy. Many people remain convinced antibiotics cure viral infections or expect them for minor self-limiting illnesses. And although the vast majority trust GPs, large numbers still think resistance is an unavoidable background problem rather than something directly shaped by individual and collective decisions. What we need to do now. Reducing antibiotic resistance means more than telling people to use them responsibly. It requires political honesty. It requires confronting the fact that the medical profession overused antibiotics for decades, often unnecessarily. It requires tackling private overprescribing, investing in infection prevention, and putting rapid diagnostic testing into every GP practice and community pharmacy. It also means a national campaign that spells out the truth. Antibiotics are not a renewable resource, and once they stop working, they don't come back. A warning. We cannot ignore again. Workers need an NHS that can treat infections effectively. The NHS needs antibiotics that still work. Unless we act decisively now and finally heed the warnings scientists ignored a century ago, we risk entering a post-antibiotic era where routine infections once again become lethal. Did you know? Antibiotic resistance was first warned about in the 1940s, before antibiotics were widely used. Alexander Fleming celebrated penicillin as a miracle cure, while also warning that misuse would create unstoppable resistant infection. Many people still believe antibiotics treat viral illnesses like colds and flu, despite decades of public health messaging. Scientists have known from the start that misuse and overuse of antibiotics accelerates resistance. Around 2/3 of antibiotic-resistant bloodstream infections in England are caused by E. coli. Deaths linked to resistant infections in England rose to nearly 2,400 in 2024. People in the poorest areas are almost 50% more likely to suffer a resistant infection than those in the wealthiest areas. Private antibiotic prescribing in England has more than doubled since 2019. Overuse contributes to resistance even in people who never took antibiotics themselves, because resistant bacteria spread between individuals. good hygiene and effective infection prevention can sharply cut the need for antibiotics.